Well, all done speaking here in Michigan, but I did want to. They're having a rodeo. They had a rodeo last night. They're having bull riding tonight. These are like high school students, and then older people, like adults, do the bull riding too. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know. I've been to a bull riding event one time. I had talked about that last week. But I have never haven't been to one in a long time, and it should be a lot of fun tonight. I'm excited. The rodeo was pretty cool last night. What do they call that they were doing? What the people were doing with the cows and the goats and whatnot?
I don't know. They
busted
busted out of a gate, and then they jumped off their horse, tackled a goat, and tied its legs together.
Yeah. It's goat wrangling. It was pretty cool, though, and then they had them trying to get it with the cows later on. It was pretty cool. So a number of things to talk about. I was going to do a video. I'll do my opening video tomorrow. I want to do my videos tomorrow when we're driving home. But today I did want to talk about what went on, Thursday night. I originally did my video Friday and then forgot to post it. So my video Friday up must have been Dustin Hanover. Who raced Thursday? Dustin Hanover, and he raced good, and Atlas Hanover raced good also. Now, Atlas Hanover... To me, I'd sent a message to Jimmy. I think we're just going to turn him out for 3 weeks. I have it in my head that he could maybe go to Oak Grove. Now, here's the issue with Oak Grove. I don't know what classes are going to fill. Nobody does, because these are all ship-ins. So you don't know what classes are going to fill right off the hop. You don't know where a horse like him would fit in. I find it hard to believe that he'd be an open pacer in Oak Grove. But, is there a class from somewhere around there? I don't know. So I guess we'll find out. I had talked more extensively with Eric Padlin about going to him and his wife, nice people, about going to Oak Grove for us, because it is my intention. I assume some of our 2-year-olds will hit Oak Grove before they go to their jurisdictions for the summer. I was talking out loud about it the other day, and how I was torn on whether do we go to Oak Grove. They do race for good money, and it was a good place. It was obviously extremely good for us last year. We ended up selling him to Madonna, but decent racing. The competition level, again, with it only being the second year, I think it's hard to gauge what the level of competition would be. But I think everybody's in the same boat. Do I go to Oak Grove? Do I go all the way to Kentucky first and then to my jurisdictions? Now with New Jersey, the Oak Grove staking compilation, it ends 2 weeks, I think, or a week at least before New Jersey. And New Jersey is the one place where it does actually coincide quite easily. So I'm more apt to look at that. In that case, we have Pickpocket. And these horses had to be born in Kentucky, right? So I got to look again. But I think definitely Pickpocket and Lover's Play are definitely two that will. Militant, I believe, is another one that fits it. Then these are horses that can race there, get some experience, and then head down to wherever we want to race them, wherever that New Jersey and in some cases Pennsylvania. That's down the road. Thursday we had Atlas. I want to rest him for Kentucky. Dustin was good. Friday we had a number of horses, a few horses trained in Ontario. I guess the way James categorized it to me was they got to the barn and there was no snowing. There was nothing. He's like, oh, it's going to be a great day to train. He said within 25 minutes there was a foot of snow on the ground. It literally just came out of nowhere. Well, it didn't come out of nowhere. Everybody knew it was coming. But it just accumulated like that immediately. And it was really hard to train the horses. Obviously, we got all the cork off them. So punching through that wet snow onto the surface was a little hard. He said there was a couple of horses made breaks. He said, well, can you blame them? He said, I don't know. They got training in. He said they trained okay. We didn't have anything raced on Friday. I spoke here yesterday. I thought it was fantastic. It was really nice to talk to people about, about fractional ownership. Now, today there were probably 20 or 30 people there, I think, in the stands, which was cool. It was nice to talk to some people that had no knowledge of, in some cases, even horse racing in general, but definitely no knowledge of fractional ownership. So fielded some questions there, talked to a number of people that were very interested in what we do and how we do it. And it was a lot of fun. So I appreciate the opportunity from Crystal, one of our clients, and the organizer here with the Michigan Harness Horse Association, to come down and speak on behalf of the stable. Today, all we have is haunted house. But my day, there was a lot going on. But what I was most interested in today was how Brace for Landing trained. James said he trained really well. He was happy with him. We had a little shoeing change and a little equipment change with him, and he thought that he was much, much, much better than he remembered or than he thought. Now, I've only been the one, Amy and I have been the only ones going with him for a little while. So I was very interested to hear James talk about Brace for Landing. He's probably, as I said yesterday, no, I didn't say it because I didn't get a chance to say it. He's probably 4 weeks from the races, which puts him right on schedule of where I want him to be. As I said, we have haunted house tonight. We have a number of horses schooled today. Now, today was important. The reason I didn't want to just redo this list or just send it out a day after I did it was we actually did have horses that qualified today. Red Overbach looked pretty good, I thought, qualifying today. If you noticed the qualifiers, there was like this huge wet spot in both turns. So the qualifiers were literally ran at 2 or 3 wide in every race. So the miles were a little off. But Red Overbach, I thought, looked good. Now, Horn Player, James, I got the sense that James really couldn't tell me why he made a break, and then he said Dominic was watching closely in the monitors. Now, I'll watch the video again. He thought that maybe she shied from the whip or got touched in the nose of the whip when he came out of the 2-hole. I can't verify that, neither can James, but Dominic said he was certain that's what happened. Either way, she'll go back next week. And then the third horse to go today looked very good, and that was Gandalf the Black. I thought he looked really, really good. He's going to start next week, and then I believe we haven't paid into the spring series, if I'm not mistaken. We have some changes to make. Now, looking at Horn Player, the one thing that was hard to extrapolate was how much talent was there. Do we have a Grand Circuit horse there, or do we have just a trotting filly? And if we do, where do we race her and what do we do? I'm going to pour over her staking first and foremost today.
Where is the place?
It's a hotel, honey. We're getting it in 1 second. All right? I want to pour over her staking today, make sure it's right. You know, I'd ask James, and it's very hard. James is more polished now than he was, and he understands the question I'm asking. Do you think there's an abundance of talent there? Is there something we can work on that would get her from today to the Breeders' Crown in October? It's hard to answer, yes, we could do this or that. A lot of it is just simple physical maturity, but there has to be some sort of raw talent there to start with, and I want to talk to him a little bit more about that. I want to go over her staking. I want to go over Gandalf the Black staking, revisit some of the horses that I thought trained really well this week, and see where they're all staked if we're in the right place. And obviously, it's important that we have the horses staked the right thing. The staking bill this month is obviously very, very high. I think many of you know that by now. And I appreciate everybody that sent their payments in quickly. I know that I don't like doing that, you know, but at the same token, March is the one time of the year. Now, come April, I told everybody they'll have 33 horses qualified by the end of March, which leads a lot of horses racing in April. The financial weight on the stable itself will be a lot less and easily mitigated by a lot of the horses racing in the month of April. So April's not as scary and not as concerning as March, but nevertheless, it is what it is this time of year. Obviously, this year, over the last 3 or 4 days, I had talked to Tom Grossman, and Kelly and I had spoke a bit about everybody writing letters for the I believe it's for the New York Racing Commission, some sort of development fund also, where they're just trying to get a handle on aspects of their jurisdiction that they can improve. And I thought it would be a very good and a very opportune time for the members of the stable.ca to reach out, voice your opinion, speak up, write a letter. Kelly had sent what we're trying to say. Just explain to the New York State Racing Commission that as is, it's very difficult to partake in racing in New York. In fact, you guys know as well as I do, when we move a horse to the New York jurisdiction or we buy a horse, a lot of people just drop off. They don't want to get licensed. It's a pain in the butt. It's not conducive to our industry. We spoke about it a bit today in my speech in Michigan, but most definitely in New York and New Jersey, it's a hindrance. And that's, I guess, the best way to put it is that New York's licensing practices hinder people's participation. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. And they need to understand that. I think if you're a bureaucrat looking at the racing industry in New York, maybe it never dawns on you. Maybe nobody brings it up well enough. Well, we're going to. So I would like everybody's help in writing the New York State Racing Commission and all throughout the month of March. I think they're having input sessions, I guess is how they're putting it, where people can submit potential rule changes, I guess, and information for them to take back and sink their teeth in and say, okay, now that we have all this information in front of us, what can we do with it? And I think now is the time to do that. So I appreciate everybody. I've seen a lot of the letters come in also. I've read them all. Thank you very much for that. But as I said, the more people that write these letters, you certainly don't have to be from New York. Obviously, as most people understand, we do business in every jurisdiction, and in the horse racing industry should be looked at as one jurisdiction. So for us, we don't do as much work in New York as New York might like us to, and maybe they don't even know that we're out here. But considering all the money and all the time we put into horse racing, it would be nice to be able to partake in racing a little bit more in New York. So we're doing a little letter writing campaign for the month of March to I believe, again, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but Kelly has all the information. I believe it's the New York State Racing Commission. Who raced this week? I'm going to go over them real quick. Obviously, I don't want this turned into the opening video for this week, but Atlas, as I said, was fourth. I thought he needs a little rest. Blue Tesla's racing. What day is she racing? Sunday? Saturday? Today or tomorrow in New York?
It's not today.
It's not today. Dustin Hanover raced good this week. Finished a good third. I think I maybe pushed Ronnie to drive him very conservative. I'm very protective of this horse. I think he does have a bright future if we cultivate that. And I just didn't want him overexposed, and I think he underexposed him, which I don't think you were going to beat the winner anyway, but we could have been second, and I thought Ronnie drove the horse perfect. He drove him great. Now that he knows him, I think we'll be even closer next week. How the hell, I'll train him again on Tuesday. This is coming off his training trip from last Tuesday. I didn't want to train him in the snow and the bad track with no corks on, so we're just going to opt for Tuesday of this week. HB Maestro is back in to go Wednesday. Trailing position again. Very frustrating. Now, in the other video, I spoke about what I thought was wrong. We had the vet go over HB Maestro. He thought his left knee was bothering him a bit. Not a serious thing, just a little maintenance. So Dr. Latessa was going to inject that knee, I believe. I haven't heard from Jason yet. That is what he told me he was going to do today. So he should be fine. Haunted House races tonight, JK Victory. A lot of people asking where he is. And I truly appreciate the latitude and the patience from our clients. You know, we spent a lot of money on this horse, and everybody wants to see him out there and doing his work. But we want to have him as good as we can. And Harry has asked for one more. You know, he didn't want to go Monday back Saturday after going 1:54 on Monday. Now, if he was completely sound and everything was perfect and he had the proper amount of weight on, yeah, we could do that. But he does that right front, right hind, bites him a little bit. Maybe a couple of pounds underweight. Maybe racing him back in 5 days is not the proper thing for him. So Harry opted for one more week, and we'll race him next Saturday. Looks like money, another couple of weeks off for him, and he'll be back in. Somebody said, I really think we made a mistake not racing him in the race that Locatelli's in. We can't race them all year. We could have raced him in that race, but then you wouldn't have had him ready for the graduate. I can guarantee you that. There's just not enough time. The horse has to have 2 or 3 weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks of training, and then 2 solid starts before the graduate ever starts. These are the best 4-year-olds on planet Earth. You can't do that. There's just not enough time. So it's not that we opted not to as much as that we just ran out of time. We could not do that with Looks Like Money. So we opted for all the major stake races as a 4-year-old for him. I think he deserved it from what he's shown when we got him back to Ontario. But you do have to treat the horse right. He does need a couple of 2-3 weeks off. He'll come back. He'll be sharp. The plan is to race him the first week in May, the second week in May, somewhere around there, have him ready to go. And then, again, I think the stakes in June, right? He should have 2 solid races bumping right up against the graduate in Mohawk. So that is what we have, Looks Like Money, prepped to do. That's what we are prepping him to do. Red Overbach, as I said, qualified today. He'll be in next week. And I said to James, just think about it. Tell us what class to race him in. He fits a horses that race for less than 10,000. I believe he fits that one, if they still write it. We just want to be able to race him where he can win. If we can't find anywhere at Mohawk, fine. Let's look around. Let's focus on the entire landscape of horse racing and find places for a horse like Red Overbach. I hope it's in Ontario. If it's not, so be it. Stonebridge Ducati, I know he made a break the other day, and I had somebody say, oh, everything's made a break there the last little while. Listen, slow your roll. You might want to stretch out your memory a little bit. Kings County made 225 under Stacy and Brett last year, so they get all the berth they want. And as far as Walk of the Moon, maybe the horse didn't like Miami Valley. We don't have to worry about that now. He was sold last week. And Stonebridge Ducati, I think it was just Ava, stop. It was just a warm-up thing where, Stonebridge Ducati, when I warmed him up hard. and I want to take some of the starch out of him because I don't want him to make a break. And I think when you look at his lines, there's no breaks. He's a 4-year-old. I think Stacy just fit him in the same way she'd warm up like Kings County, jog him 3 laps and race him. I just don't know if that was enough for him. So I'd said, until he gets his bearings under him, maybe go a mile with him, stretch him out pretty good to make sure when he rolls in behind the gate, he's on his toes and ready to go. And I think that's all that last week was for him. And Mister raced good, raced very, very good. Happy with that horse. He's going to be back in the Nommers of 6 Series this week coming also. Unbeatable Kemp qualified well. I think he's sitting on a good mile. This is a horse that really appreciated that time off and the extra work we put into him. If anything, I thought he was a little right line of hair and a little right front. But when we were working on that left knee that had that old line in it, worked hard on it. That right one, I think, needed a little maintenance too. We just put a little polyglycan in there, and I believe that's what the vet said. And the horse, Dominic said, was fantastic. Now even got him. We have him where he can swim and jog and train now. So we've got him in a training program that will suit him and his needs very, very well. So he's in Monday. I expect good things from Unbeatable Kemp. World for 2, I'm going to drive him. Old Judas jumped off him. James said, those old horses are pretty nice horses. See, the problem with James is he's never driven World for 2, so he doesn't really know how fast he is. It wouldn't shock me at all if World for 2 went out and beat those horses. He's a nice horse, World for 2. And, some older horses dropping.
Isn't the class like non-runners?
No, yeah, but you have a good horses that just are maybe a bad run of luck for 4 or 5 starts. Like, there's some killers names that you're like, oh my God, that was a nice horse. I can't believe he fits in this class. And you look, and he hasn't been racing that well, but he was a good horse. Well, those are horses on the downswing maybe, and World for 2 is razor sharp, coming in sharp. And yes, it's a lot for him to do, but it's not like the non-winners of 4 or 5 was going to be easier. To race him in, Hunted House's class went 51 last week, so it's not like we're like, oh, we picked the wrong class. I think that's the right class. But he's going to have to show now that he's a fast. We know he has speed. He's always been kind of shallow, so fast. He's like Tiger, a little bit like Tiger, but he is a fast horse. It wouldn't shock me if we had won on Monday, but I hate pushing James saying, hey, can you take this horse? I said it in the video yesterday. I said, you can deal with Amy if you don't take White Tiger. I don't care. It's not up to me. He goes, well, Carmen's horse. I said, Carmen's horse, like White Tiger, is probably 6th, 7th, 8th best in the series. If you want to pick over White Tiger to drive a horse, 1, you're not going to drive in the final, and 2, is like 8th best overall. You go ahead. I said, but I think my wife would rather you drive the horse. So I see it come out, James McDonald. So maybe he decided he didn't want to come in and work beside you every day picking off the White Tiger. So White Tiger, World for 2, both good. Mister's been good. Locatelli's sitting on a win. He's come back good. This is not his trip, and James knows that. It was just the way the circumstances played out in the race. If he was tight, he would have continued on to the lead. But he knew there was a chance he was going to be first over, and I think, and if he had continued on the lead, he wouldn't have been through those pylons he did in the first turn and been set back. So Locatelli's a little tighter now. I think he's probably sitting on a good mile. She's a sassy beach. I had said yesterday, I'm just really, really happy. Especially coming off International Women's Day. We talk about my wife and how hard she works. I know that. You guys know that. We have a lot of women that work very, very hard for the stable. Think of Kelly working the way she does. You think of everyone on that side. Wendy works like 85 hours a day. And then, when you look inside the barn, Cindy, Teresa, Michelle, who's on the other side? Emily, Claire, Carrie, and Shelby. All those people work their butts off all day long. And, it's not lost on me, and I do truly appreciate it. And then you look at our trainers, as I said, you have Stacy, who works with Brett nonstop to have her horses good and had a great year for us last year. And then Megan, and I told Megan straight up, I said, you did a hell of a job finding a class for She's a Sassy Beach last week. That was fantastic. An optional claimer hidden away in Saratoga that she fit and won. We were able to exploit that class a little bit. Now she's out of that class. I said, we're going to need a little more of that magic, but just a hell of a job finding that class. So that was very much appreciated. What's that?
Don't forget about your
Oh, yeah. I mean, sorry, I should have kept going. I mean, Lauren literally took care of 8 horses for a number of weeks when we were short-staffed. And never complained, not one time. Lauren is just a consummate worker. And Cindy Goldwater is like, every business on planet Earth needs a Cindy Goldwater. Every one of them. Those are people that just show up every day, do the work, joke and laugh. But when you stop and think about it, all the work that they've done with a smile on their face, that's the epitome of horse racing and caretakers. All our new caretakers, just everybody that works hard at the stable. female or male, quite frankly, deserve a pat in the back, and maybe they don't get it enough. And then stay close. Stay close. Got a clean bill of health. No more medication needed for his eye. He still needs time, and I know Amy worked every 2 hours. I told everybody for the first 2 weeks, every 2 hours, Amy, Dominic, and Carrie went back and administered every 2 hours. Now from 12 to 6, nobody. So you can't ask everybody to do that. But from 6 to midnight, every 2 hours, that horse had medication administered to his eye topically. And for somebody to go in there and do that, you can imagine how frustrated the horse would get after a while. Every 2 hours, you're just squirting something on his eye. I mean, it's just, the horse did a great job healing himself up. And you'll see, if you ever see him, there's a white spot there, and it'll take she said it could take 6 to 8 months to go away, or at least dissipate. But the eye itself is healed up. So, yeah, I suspect Dominic may have trained him Friday or Saturday. He will be back in short order. And I said the beauty of it all is that he's put weight on. Horse looks like he put 100 pounds on. So, we were able to turn a real lemon, a real bad situation with him, and find some lemonade from that, which was putting 100 pounds on that horse, which he's going to need, and that will pay dividends, I think, down the road. So, very happy to be in this small town setting, even though there's 10 million people in Michigan. This horse expo is massive. We just went through and got Addie a sweater, and Ava and Ollie and Amy. We're going to go back tonight and watch the bull riding. That should be a lot of fun. And I'm going to spend the next hour looking for a nice restaurant to eat at, because I know Amy loves that so much. So we have some clients waiting for us, some clients that were there. We're all going to go out and eat and break some bread and talk about the stable. I don't get to see Marvin except for in the summer, and Mark. Met a new gentleman, Jimmy, today. Seems like a really, really nice man. So, again, this is why we came to Lansing, Michigan, is to go to the horse fair, just relax for the weekend, and just get outside your comfort zone. So, although horse racing is our comfort zone, this is, that expo is set up for all types of equestrian work, and it really is cool.
I guess you'll go to the Royal Winter Fair then if you love it so much.
I'll have to check my calendar, but I might be free.
Yeah.
I might be free. Anyway, I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Videos are all coming this weekend. I'm going to do them tomorrow on our way home, though. Today, I just want to relax, go over a couple of meals. Might be a 2-meal Saturday, and a nice meal with my wife and kids in about an hour and a half or so. So, take care. I apologize I didn't post the other video from yesterday. Oh, really? You're just sitting back there watching your video, picking your nose, saying hi, everybody? You going to say bye-bye, everybody?
Bye-bye, everybody.
Did you have fun at the horse fair?
Yeah.
Which horsey was your favorite? Did you just keep with the nose picking? All right. Which one was your favorite one?
The gray one.
The big. What about the big tall one? The big one.
Yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
What about the donkey?
What about the donkey with the big ears?
Yeah.
Anyway, we had fun in East Lansing. Very nice place, very nice people, and very happy we decided to come. Take care.